The following Defending Our America episode is presented without commercial interruption by Sig Sauer.
Anytime like you get a bunch of TAC guys together, it's a resounding, we can't believe this hasn't happened yet.
All these different things that happen across the world, they're all based on what they're going to be able to do in America. 10 soldiers in Mumbai completely annihilated their entire infrastructure.
As the Taj Hotel continues to burn, an ongoing hostage situation, we believe Westerners are the target there of the terrorists.
There were 5 two-man teams that went all through Mumbai, creating havoc with small arms fire and man-made munitions, explosives and stuff. They left explosives in the back of taxi cabs, and then they set a timer, and then they went to another place. So when that bomb went off there, they were doing small arms fire somewhere else, and they all worked their way in one place, and they went after them, and then they went after first-line first responders, and then they waited for the next group to come in, and they used the media. More importantly, they were on the phone with their handlers in other countries who are watching the news. They're watching the SWAT team members come down, and the handlers in Pakistan and Afghanistan, wherever they were from, are telling them, okay, you have an attack coming in from the roof, get ready. And the first 2 guys came down, were shot, and I think one of them was killed because they had knowledge from the media that this was happening. And they used all these things. They had GPS tracking devices. They had radios and cell phones that communicate internationally. They were so well armed, and these things are all available in the U.S.
The Kenya Mall massacre is very likely going to occur in this country to some extent anyways.
At least 62 people have been killed, 175 wounded. The list of the dead reflects the indiscriminate murder spree.
I actually have a friend that was in the mall, spent 6 hours in there during the shootout, was actually standing next to the first person shot. Those were Muslim extremists, Somali al-Shabaab terrorists. Those terrorists went into the mall, selectively picking people that were not Muslim. Are you a Muslim? You know, literally asking people. And they especially wanted to kill children.
The terrorists are smart. They're creative, and they do their homework. You know, it's a certainty that they conducted intelligence of that facility before they ever attacked it. They went there to see what it was, how it was as a potential target. You know, they made sure that they knew what the security arrangements were, how quickly military or security forces might be able to respond. So they did their homework before they ever set foot in that mall. Once they entered it, they came in like gangbusters, which is one of the tactics. You know, come in and scare the living hell out of everybody, because that's how you gain control of them.
There's an elevated balcony area in the mall where there's like a cooking class going on. And it's a lot of young children, teenagers, doing this cooking class, and it's like kind of a cooking show. And the terrorists came up the stairs, and they saw all these kids there, and I think they killed 30 of them right there. And so, what's the point of that? Bloodshed, that's it. And so they killed all these innocent kids, destroyed families, wounded lots of others, but the majority of the victims were kids.
What did bin Laden say after the Beslan massacre? This will happen on your soil 5 times.
There are only the briefest shots of hundreds of hostages cowering on the floor. Children, families, grandmothers, some with their hands over their heads.
If you look at Beslan, you know, the attack on the Russian school, once again, there was preparation done. I mean, there were hides built in the school ahead of time. Like, there were caches of weapons that were moved into the school and hidden, you know, days ahead of time. And that was an attack on children. I mean, there were a lot of children involved. Obviously a school, and there were a number of adults also, but it was the first day of school. So there were a lot of adults and children there.
Those guys went in there knowing they weren't going to come out alive, and knowing they were going to kill a lot of kids before they died. They literally had pressure plate bombs. So they were standing on pressure plates so that if they stepped off, the bomb goes off. So that's the perfect tool for death, because now you have rescuers coming in, and what are you going to do when you come in to rescue? You're going to immediately kill the bad guys. You kill this guy, he falls off that pressure plate, the bomb goes off. So it's a dead man's switch. That's, you know, it's perfect. It's a flawless killing tool. To have that mindset that you're in a classroom with 100 kids and you're standing on a bomb that you know, whether I live or whether I die, all of these kids are going. What's the common denominator there? It's Islamic extremism. And we can deny it. We can talk about the mall attack where it's the poor going after the rich. No, it had nothing to do with that. This is an iconic thing in this area of Nairobi, and they went in there to kill innocent people, and they didn't care if they died. They were going in there to shed blood. And then you have the same thing in Beslan. You have the Chechens, Islamic extremists that are going into this neighborhood, picking the most vulnerable, the weakest, the most unprotected, and killing them.
If they follow the guidance of Osama bin Laden, then the United States is going to be, not just the United States, but, you know, European countries as well, are going to be facing attacks on soft targets. There certainly is a threat to our country by groups that are committed to doing bad things.
So I'm sure that Americans as a whole feel bad that those events happened, but they're disconnected from those events because they took place elsewhere. So it wasn't my town, it wasn't your town, it was somewhere in another country, and that would never happen here. It's just because, you know, that's a third world country and that's the kind of things that happen there. And that's not true. If you look at the people that were behind those attacks, it's the same people that our military are fighting against overseas to keep them from attacking here.
It will happen. I know it will happen. They will at least make an attempt on something like Beslan in America, and exactly like the mall attack, it's going to happen here. And it's not going to happen on a small scale.
Next time on Defending Our America.
Over 150 police officers were in this scenario that we did. We did it pro bono for the state police in a certain state. The school has basically said, do whatever you want with our school. I want all the teachers to stay as an in-service day, so they're going to go through the exercise. Give me 5 or 6 trained guys to do a shooting at the school. I'm like, we're going to run this just like it's a hit. We're going to give these guys a real look. We're going to have simulated explosives. We're going to have simulated traps. And I'm telling you, we killed probably 50 cops. Like, they would be crushed.